Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Record scratch. Get the fuck out of here, 2020. All right, I couldn't help myself on that one. Okay, Happy New Year to you girls and guys all around the world. It feels so good to have 2020 behind us, 2020 in the rear view. And it feels so good to look. It feels like, January 1st, 2021, we have been waiting for what feels like an eternity. It is finally here. Thank God. And now we roll forward. Like so many of you, all of you, I'm sure, all you girls and guys around the world did everything you could possibly do. And believe me, I was right there with you to do everything that we possibly could do to end 2020 on a positive note, on an uptick. And that way we can gain that momentum, as we head into 2021. But certainly as I look back on 2020, I am ultimately the number one thing for 2020 is grateful. I am so grateful to have experienced 2020 with my family, my friends, with all of you, as we had to contend with so much shit and highlights and lowlights and everything in between. Look, I kicked off my 2020. My dad died suddenly. And then I ended my 2020 where the man I consider my father figure, he died suddenly too. So that was a hell of a bookend for me. I lost friends in 2020. Understand what it's like to get racked and get my ass kicked by COVID. My entire family got COVID. Everybody around us got COVID. Very scary time. And all the things that we have been dealing with. But, I will say, as I look back and what 2020, one of the blessings and silver linings of 2020 is it really gave me a chance to reflect. And I know it gave all of you a chance to reflect too as well, because Lord knows we had a lot of time on our hands as we weren't doing shit. But it gave me an opportunity to reflect and be grateful for the valuable lessons, the invaluable lessons and takeaway from 2020. One of which was, this incredible time that I had to spend time with my family. I had not been on an extended period of downtime since I was, I think 18 years old. And I finally had that time, but what that did for me is really allowed me, and I'd be interested to see what you guys think too on this and your experience on this. It really allowed me to understand the critical nature of being present in my kids' lives, my wife, my family, my business. Now look, I always felt that I was a present dude anyway when it comes to my family, when it comes to my businesses. I try to be really sharp and focused and always ultra present. It's always important to me to be ultra present, but the lockdown really just shifted that into a next level of what it's like to be present. And what also, one of the lessons I learned was, yes, I'm always willing to be the hardest worker in the room. Yes, you guys out there are always willing to be the hardest workers in the room. That's our motto. We preach that. But what I also realized was it's so important. The evolution of being the hardest workers in the room is to be the smartest worker in the room. And it was important to me to be the smartest worker in the room. Now, let me contextualize what I mean by being the smartest worker in the room, because that makes me sound like an asshole. Considering I got a 0.7 GPA my first semester at University of Miami. But I did come back and become academic captain once I turned my life around. But being the smartest workers in the room, for me, it was being smart enough to know that, yes, I'm willing to outwork everybody and put in that effort, but being smart enough to know that I need to surround myself with people who are a lot smarter than I am at what they do, so the vision can be executed and the goals can be accomplished. So that's what I mean by being the smartest workers in the room. And that's why it was important to me to become the smartest worker, the hardest worker in the room, smartest worker in the room, surround myself with people who are a lot smarter, almost like surround myself with the Avengers and who are a lot smarter. One of the things, so those were the two things that I learned from 2020 that I take with me in 2021. The other thing and the last thing that I want to share with you guys, since we're all in this thing together, is what I also learned about being the hardest workers in the room, the smartest workers in the room, but also, this is the thing I want to share with you, is this idea of now, after this 2020 has kicked the shit out of us in so many ways, now let's go into 2021 and beyond with a mindset. And that mindset is running through the line. Through the line. So it's an old runners and sprinters term, which many of you might have heard, but it's like you run through the line, you run through the tape. And if you're running through the tape, that means you're number one. But in all likelihood, we're not going to be number one. But what we can do is always run through the line with every fucking thing we got. All our drive, all our ambition, all our sweat equity, all our passion. Run through the line. It's almost like, to use more sports analogies here, it's like playing till you hear a whistle. It's like fighting until you hear a bell. Run through the line. And that for me crystallized what 2020, the lesson of what 2021 has taught me. And that's running through the line. That's with everything. That's with my family. That's with my businesses. It's with everything and every initiative that I touch. Let's run through that line. Let's play till we hear a whistle, and let's fight and keep swinging until we hear a bell. And if we don't, then we keep swinging. If we don't hear a whistle, we keep playing. And if that line isn't in front of us, then we keep running until we run through the line. You know, and look, you're like, all right, Rock, with the sports analogies, you know, look, I just in my nature, my DNA, and I know so many of you guys are like this too as well, I play hard. And I love to play hard. And I also play angry. I really play fucking angry. But that works in my favor. But more importantly than playing hard or playing angry or however it is your approach it is to your businesses or what you do, but the number one thing that 2020 has taught me is to lean in more on playing with passion. It is that passion, that mana, like deep in here. That's where that comes from. And that's a separating thing. That's a separating quality and intangible that separates you from anyone else, which is passion. And that's where we deliver that passion, be unapologetic about it, and we move forward. So this 2021, here we are. Let's do this. Let us all be the hardest workers in the room, the smartest workers in the room. Always, always run through the line and always play with passion. We will do together. We will do everything like we do anything. And that is with 100% conviction, you know, and that fucking passion. That's what separates us. It's that soul. That's the mana. It's the soul, the mana, and the passion. All right, 2021, here we go. Let's get after it. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And let's kick off our first Monday coming up in a few days. That's going to be a special Motivation Monday for us because it's the first Monday of 2021. Well, fuck, this is the first Friday of 2021, so we're going to get after it. Play with passion and play with healthy, positive energy. Here we go. Should old acquaintance fuck out of here, 2020. Here we go, 2021.